Well, the new album, The Work, is out in only a few days. Comes out this Friday. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this up before then. What can you tell me about the title? Because it's quite an interesting and kind of simplistic title. Obviously, the music is very complex and progressive.
Yeah, so the title of The Work, as far as what I understand, it basically represents, you know, everything that we've kind of put into this band and the process of it. So I feel like it directly connects to, you know, the creative grind of doing every single thing on every level that we do at the band, you know, through the writing process, the touring process, the recording process, every aspect of it. You see that as an aspect of the work. And, you know, the representation of putting time into something that transcends the wear and tear feeling of it ominously being something that comes off like work, but at the end it creates something. It becomes something that's like an artistic articulation. And that is kind of my approach to the title. I mean, if you ask someone else in the band, you might get a different answer. You know, I know on a broader level, for a band, it represents, you know, really what we have done all the way up until this point as a band, not just with this album, but like everything, you know, leading up to this point in our career as a band.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprising sometimes the more simple titles can pack in the most meaning, you know. And it's been interesting, like reading the comments on the new videos, Focus and Clean, and people saying, oh, it's really interesting because like they've changed, but they've not changed drastically. And so it's almost, the music itself is very fitting for the title because it does encompass everything that Rivers of Nihil have been and progressed to being.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit different than what I think most people may have expected, you know, in some degree. But, you know, even the first time I heard the title, I was like, I had to sit with it for a second until the meaning really registered with like the personal relationship we have with the band. And I think it works. Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. What were you asking? That one.
Like I say, a lot of people have been commenting on the kind of different sound for this one. Obviously, most people haven't heard the full album yet. What would you say makes The Work a different album from Where Owls Know My Name?
I would say because, you know, Where Owls Know My Name was the first step of us creating that kind of territory and stepping into that, you know, that realm of music that's really open more and able to express itself on different dynamics. But this album, we knew we entered that territory, and now that we're already in it, I think it gave us a little bit more breathing territory, or, you know, like we felt a little bit more free in our own creative approach to really just go all out and try to like really not limit ourselves in terms of like what our creative expression is trying to manifest with this record musically and lyrically. You know, it's one of those records that I think also different from Where Owls Know My Name. You know, it's almost like there's, and not that there wasn't in Where Owls Know My Name. You know, there's clearly a conscious, you know, effort behind each song and the way it was put together in that record. But in this, for The Work, that same idea is done, but it's done in a way that I feel really extends itself in a way that now that we entered this new territory of really opening up how we are kind of like allowing our creative musical taste to kind of like come out on this record. I feel that it has a new dimension to it, you know, like with the overall like listening process from one song to the end. You know, Brody made this comment that like the listening process is kind of like, you know, being inside different places. Each song is like being inside a different place, and the song is supposed to kind of like represent that setting. You know, so I feel there's like a creative effort in articulating a new way to approach an experience of music than maybe the previous record. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I think it really shows just how much work has gone into this album. Not to make a pun, but you know, you can hear it. You can even like the artwork. The artwork is incredible. This is another Dan Seagrave piece. You know, and it was funny because I didn't know who did the artwork initially before I looked it up. I kind of thought it looks a little bit like Transcend the Rubicon by Ben Finch. Oh, it's the same artist.
Yeah.
And obviously you've worked with Dan before. He did the Where Else, Know My Name artwork as well. What is it about Dan as an artist that you feel works so well with Rivers of Nihil?
You know, he has I guess it was because, you know, like from our first record, you know, all the way through up until now, you know, this one, he's done every album. So like you know, we've always loved his artistic approach and style with his artwork, and now it's at the point where like his identity is a part, his artwork identity is a part of like, you know, what we do, and the creative image that we're trying to crop and put on the front of each album that we put out. It seems like such an essential component to like to what Rivers of Nihil is for us to work with him. And we really are happy with the artwork that he pulled down for this one. You know, I'm going full season, full circle. You know, so yeah.
Oh, like I say, it's a beautiful piece of art. You know, it's because it is both vibrant and sinister. You know, so again that corresponds very well as Rivers of Nihil music, because again, there's so much going on in the music that you want something a bit more complex. You know, you want something a bit more. Literally paints the picture of your music. So.
Yeah, hey, he does that well. Like it's like we'll send him, you know, the overall theme of the record, and you know the direction of that season, and he'll you know draw up rough ideas, send some stuff over, and it always transcends in a very similar idea or close to image that we see it in. Yeah, it's so awesome working with them. Yeah, it really is a privilege. Yeah.
And another way that the visuals really manifest themselves with this album is with the music videos. Like I say, Focus and Clean are the two songs that you've done. You turned into music videos. Why did you feel these songs were good ones to get a taste of the new album? And how pleased are you with the music video results?
Well, you know, that's a good question. Yeah, it was kind of we were stuck between, I think, 3 or 4 songs that we were kind of like choosing whether it was what we wanted our singles to be, and what it came down to was just like those 2 songs, and then with the instrumental more that came out, we just felt that they had the essential elements that we really wanted everyone to first share with this record. You know, clean. It's just a real in-your-face, upfront kind of like, here we are, we're back. This is and I think that song really captures people right away, and it also kind of has this, it's a heavy hitter, but it's also one of those songs that kind of keeps you kind of chilling and, going with the vibe in the background at the same time. And Focus, it kind of does both of that, it has a little bit of everything in a really well-balanced manner. And Rivers of Nihil is not shy to that style of writing. So it makes sense that like one of our singles would be essentially a song that had that deliverance. So I think when it came down to it, we knew those two songs would really cross over well, or at least they would express, what this album is kind of pointing towards. So yeah.
Nice one. And as for the making of the album itself, how was the recording process this time around? When did you finish recording it?
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said, as for the making of the album itself, how was the recording process for this album?
Oh, the recording process was pretty smooth. It was, we recorded with Carson and Chris at Atrium Studios. We recorded the past 2 other records with them, and we have a really close connection with those guys, so we feel really comfortable in their space. And, it was a really smooth process overall. We went in there and recorded the tracks. Brody has a lot of the pre-production already done, assembled with Carson. So by the time the rest of us are in there, we already kind of have our stuff figured out, and we go in there and punch the parts in. It was one of the least stressful experiences for me in the studio, I would say, and that's kind of always been the goal. Like each time, just hope that when I get in there, things go along well for the best. And sure enough, this time around it did, and I felt really confident with what we did there. And at the same time, it was a really interesting experience because with this recording process, the lyrics, we were still working on that all the way up until we were in the studio. So it really kind of changed the relationship I normally have with the content prior to recording it. And in the sense of like, not so much like knowing it, but like having a thought about it or having an opinion about it. So upon going into to record my parts specifically, I just had this innovative kind of opportunity to go in there and just put in these takes the way they were scripted to be recorded. So it was really interesting, and it was a lot of fun. So despite the COVID thing and all that. So.
Well, speaking of the lyrics, what kind of subjects, themes are tackled on the work?
It's this album really is a personal kind of rabbit hole that Adam Biggs has kind of coiled up into the content of this album, and a lot of it is open to interpretation, and a lot of it again is surrounding the experiences we kind of have as a band and the relationship we have with each other, with the industry, with the music, with the being on the road, and then there's a lot of these songs that actually have complete other meanings to them that like are kind of hidden from an obvious sense of knowing, that are really about just the most random ass shit that you wouldn't think they're about, but they're all kind of relevant to the touring experience, an experience of being a band, and something that has happened or came out of an experience we had, whether it's in the writing process or being out here on the road. These songs all have lyrics that are extensions from that. So, not to be too specific about any one song, but that's kind of just like a generalizing outline of what they're pointing towards there.
I think that's the best kind of lyrics. Those that are open to interpretation, because people will associate their own feelings and emotions and thoughts to it anyway. And I just find that more pleasing from an artistic point of view as well, when things are more open to interpretation.
Yeah.
But like you say, part of this is part of it was influenced by touring and that kind of thing. Obviously, on the road at the moment, or not quite at this moment, we're off date. But and then I think later on, maybe at the end of the year or the beginning of next year, you've got a European tour coming up.
Yeah, we're hoping. Yes, we're hoping that that's still a thing, and we're hoping that we have that tour lined up. If we don't, I know that there will be potential for things to happen early next year. You know, so right now we're kind of figuring all the rest of the touring that we want to get done for this year out now. But things are kind of in a gray area in terms of what may happen, unfortunately. So, I mean, we want to be back out there, and you know, we're happy to be out here right now, and we're having a great time. But I guess what's more important is that everyone's safe, and you know, it's the right time to go out there and do the touring. So we'll see. We hope to be out. We hope to be out as soon as we can. You know, not Europe. So
good.
Yeah.
No, it's great to have you over on this side of the pond, you know, because again, hearing this new material, it's so deep in that I really want to experience it live, which is the best advertisement you can have, really, for a live show. Is a strong album. So,
yeah. I completely, you know, that is the bread and butter of this whole kit and caboodle here. You know, it's like, you know, the albums, the digital, you know, the releasing of albums and being able to listen to music online is great, but being able to go to a show has always been where, you know, the liveliness of this whole community will continue to come from. And without it, you know, it's like, you know, it's a pain in the ass. So we definitely hope to be back out there as soon as possible. Yeah. I feel your pain.
It must be worse
really
for you being a musician that's had to sit out of the way for so long, you know.
I mean, it's a mutual thing, man, and that's really the truth of it. You know, just as much as we miss playing, you know, the people out there, you know, if they're not there for us, you know, we're not there for them. You know, it's what is there, you know. So when we're out on this tour, you know, like looking out the crowd, we're playing, you can see it in their faces. Like, some of these people haven't been to a show in 18 months. I mean, granted, it's not that long. It's long, but it's not that long. But you can tell that some people really depend on, you know, these live concerts, and it really does something for them, and it helps them out. So, you know, it does something for us. Yeah.
Good.
You know, it's good to have that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak to me. I really do appreciate it. And I wish you only success with the work and the tours. I hope you're able to get over to Europe soon. And then once the world starts opening up again, go play in South America and Asia and all the other places.
Absolutely, Alan. We hope so too, man. And I hope to do this again with you. I appreciate your time.
Anytime, man. My pleasure.